The anime starts with the death of a young woman. Shortly after that, we also get to know the main character, Chakuro. He himself has made it his mission to write down every deceased in his book. Chakuro explains that he is a marked person with special abilities. To that he also says that such people have a short lifespan, which is why the young woman had to die. With his magic he can conjure up a sickle, which he can throw around. Around his homeland there is a huge sea of sand. After a while, an island appears in this sea of sand. A small troop sets out for the island to get valuable resources. Chakuro was also part of the troop, to which we are told that the magic in the world is called time. Chakuro was walking alone in the forest. There he suddenly met a strange girl. This girl attacked him without further ado, but he fought off this attack. After the attack, the girl collapsed from exhaustion. A little later, the troop went back home. In the luggage, they had the girl. Chakuro and his friend Sami took the girl to the hospital. On the way, she was giving the name Lycos, which was embroidered in her clothes. But at the hospital, Lycos is arrested by the Elder Council to find out who she really is. When they found out the truth, Lycos should go to prison. But before that happens, she is saved by Auni. Auni wants to find her home with Lycos. Auni also takes Chakuro with him, because he has been to the island of her before. Together they searched for the home of her, but it turned out that everyone except her had died. Without further ado, they went inside the castle, where they met a monster called News. News is a monster that absorbs people's emotions. Lycos explained to the two that the unfeeling humans are used for war. In the evening, they were picked up again by the others. Back home, the two were put in the dungeon for going to the islands without permission. But after a few hours, Chakuro was also released. The same day was the cricket festival. At the cricket festival, a beautiful light spectacle was seen. The next morning, an army appeared. This army killed the inhabitants from the island. Sami was also killed in this attack. Lycos ran to save Chakuro. Meanwhile, Chakuro was attacked by a soldier. During this fight, he developed enormous strength, with which he was able to defeat the soldier. But suddenly more soldiers came. Lycos came to support Chakuro. A single soldier with pink hair interfered. It turned out that Lycos was one of those people at that time. The guy with pink hair wanted to kill Chakuro, but Lycos interfered. To this we learn that Lycos is the little sister of the commander-in-chief of the army. The commander-in-chief decided to leave Lycos on the island and withdraw his army. Oni came to the infirmary injured. He told the inhabitants that the army will return in 7 days to destroy the entire island. The next day, all the deceased were buried in the sea of sand. After this event, the elders decided to destroy their island. The elders explained that they originally came from the same land as the army, but they were banished from there. But there is still a chance to save the people from destruction. To do that, they have to go underground. Chakuro and his friends set out to get there. In the underground they find a secret base. In this base is a chair with the news on top. This news is the same as the one from Lycos Island. People started shooting arrows at the news. Because of this, the island starts to go crazy. Through the arrows they want to destroy the news, because this will also destroy the island. But Chakuro and Lycos were able to persuade the others not to destroy the island. After that, the islanders decided to prepare for the fight against the army. Even the children trained with bows and arrows. After days of training, the enemy army attacked. The army arrived by airships. Militarily, the islanders had no chance, but they always managed to gain a few weapons. While the fighting was in full swing, a small force sneaked into the command ship from the attackers. Their goal is to destroy the news so that the ship explodes. On their way they have to fight off soldiers. But thanks to Auni this was no problem at all. After a while they reached the news from the ship. But it was a trap. A large number of soldiers were waiting there, which the team killed. But since a few were waiting outside, not the whole squad was killed. Lycos, for example, was able to escape because she used her magic to defend herself. Lycos, Auni, and Chakuro came to help Lycos. Meanwhile, countless hands appeared all over the island. On the battlefield, the commander of the islanders also had to fight the guy with pink hair. After a while, the commander manages to defeat the guy. On the ship, everyone is now captured. Auni is badly beaten by the soldiers. Before he is killed, someone from the island interferes. Together they manage to kill a high-ranking soldier. But it was no use, because Auni's friend was killed anyway. All of a sudden, Auni goes completely berserk and finishes off the soldiers in a matter of seconds. In the process, he also destroyed the news, which suddenly caused ghosts to flow through the entire ship. Auni and the others were then suddenly in a world which consisted of thoughts. The world was created by the news. There Shaka meets a ghost who gave him a strange shell. After that they all disappeared from the thought world. This also allowed them to escape from the ship. The remaining attackers killed themselves as the command ship was defeated. The hands also disappeared from the island. After a while, Kam returned to the island. The islanders used this Kam to bury the deceased. A little later, a lord appeared who wanted to conquer the island. But he was stopped by the commander of the islanders because the lord and his subjects could not use magic. Shaka, meanwhile, searched for Lycos. After a while, he found Ama. Amy explained to him that this island was a ship. She explained to him that the pet of Shaka was the helm from the ship. This ship had the name of Falina. In another place, the brother of Lycos, Orca, is sentenced because he failed. But he manages to convince the judges by saying that he found an even stronger species. This allowed him to live and go in search of the new species. By the species he means the Dominias, because he is convinced that Auni belongs to this species. On the island, they now use the gain helm to move on the sand sea. The Lord showed the islanders a current map of the world. There he explains to them that there are other kingdoms in the world. Later we learn from Lycos that the news of the Falina does not eat the feelings, but the lifetime of the people with magical powers. This is also the reason why the magicians always die so early. The current mayor, at some point, found the records of the predecessors. In these books was the complete history of this ship. In the later course, they met several whirlpools, which previously held the island in the area. But with the helm, these whirlpools are no longer a problem. In the credits we see Orca, which is on the way to destroy the Falina. This is also the end of the anime, but feel free to leave a like or a comment. Or make some suggestions for anime where you want to see a summary.